Hi everyone, it's Kristi. Welcome back. Today we're going to start a new project. This idea comes from Carol Tinson. I was just looking up, I write notes to myself, and I had a list that's, in my list I had a project that said gift card mini journal. And then when I went back to my list, I couldn't remember what the heck I was talking about, which often happens. So I went to YouTube and started looking for gift card mini albums and couldn't find anything. But there was a tutorial that came up in the search by Carol Tinson that was for a coin envelope mini. And I think that might have been my inspiration originally, and I just didn't note it. I usually try to write the name of the project and then who inspired it so that I remember and I can go back. Because it was somewhat familiar, and I think I've seen every video that Carol has made. She's fabulous and funny, and if you haven't checked out her channel, do it, because she is so funny, and her videos, she's very calming and very detailed in her tutorials, and I love watching her channel. So anyway, she had some coin envelopes, and I'm not even sure what coin envelope size is. I'm guessing it's about a 3x4 size, but anyway, so I went playing after I watched her video. I went playing to see if I could come up with, well, my original one was for gift card envelopes. That was what my notes said. So I went through and I looked on my envelope punch board, because I knew there was one on here, and I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but I can barely see it. I wish this was printed in black or something a little bit easier to read, but 2 by 3.5 is the gift card, and you start with a 5x5 and you score at 2 inches. Okay, so I wanted to see what other sizes I could do, 5x5, 6x6, 7x7. Well, as it turns out, there's no 7x7 on here. I don't know, I'll have to play with that one, but there is 8x8, 9x9, 10x10, 11x11, so I don't know why there's no 7x7. But either way, I did the 5x5, scoring at 2 inches. The gift card size is 2 by 3.5, so I'm figuring, and this is an old expired Target gift card. It fits in here perfectly. So this would make a cute, I'll call it a tiny mini. I think that would be fun, and I played with some scraps here and made myself some notes of how I want to make it. But I thought I would do coffee dyed paper, because then I can use up my scraps and the base will be neutral. You could make it completely monochromatic and just use the same colors, or you can add a splash of color here and there, and that's what I'd like to do. So we've got the 5x5, which comes out, it's for the 2 by 3.5 card, and it comes out finished size at 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. So let me write that down. That's the finished side, is 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. That's finished. So the way we're going to put this journal together is going to be long ways, but you could easily do any size envelope in this manner, and then you could even do them vertically. We're going to do a horizontal one because we just did a vertical one. So, but this is a little bit small. I'd have to make the tags about 2 by 4, which is fine, because they will have tags in them. And ignore my notes and my mistakes, because this was my prototype, but basically this won't be here. This will be open on the ends, and this is 1-page insert. So we will have 3 of these. We're going to have 6 envelopes, 3 of these that are put together, and she, like I said, she used coin envelopes, so she attached the flaps together, and I'll show you how to do that. But a lot of times in the envelope journals that I've seen, they're this way, where they're attached where the flap is on this side. When you're using the envelope punch, you can make it any orientation you want because you haven't glued anything down yet. So this is the smallest size, and then starting with a 6x6 here and scoring at 2 5/8, this holds a 3x4 card. So the finished size for this one is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. That's the finished size on this one. And I think this is the size I want to do today. There again, because I'm using the envelope punch board, I get to decide, do I want a vertical book, or do I want a horizontal book, or do I want a vertical book? And either way will work. So that is 6x6. And then I did go ahead and do an 8x8, which is a little bit bigger, and this actually finishes about the size of the book we just finished. So 8x8 envelopes, you could do them vertically or horizontally, your choice. So I'm going to do the 6x6. That's what we are going to do for this journal. Sorry, that was a long introduction. And I think we'll put the journal together, the base, today, and then tomorrow we will decorate. This will probably just be 2 parts. I'm going to do the cover last. The cover will be about 1/4 of an inch longer and 1/8 of an inch top and bottom, so that we have a little extra there. But we'll get through that in a minute. So let's see. I need 6 envelopes. 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is my coffee dyed paper. Coffee dyed prints from Leanna Scrap. She has, if you buy her Etsy digital, I think there's 36 different prints. So I'm going to cut these down to 6x6, and I'm going to speed some of this up so that it's not like watching paint dry. Okay, so just a note, these cutoffs over here that I just had, some of them are smaller, but this is 5 inches, so go ahead and cut that down, make 5 inch. You can make a small one at the same time with these same 6 pieces of paper. So I'm going to probably just do a couple of these, and then I'll fast forward. Let's see, what was my score line? Okay, this is 6x6. My score line is 2 5/8. Okay, so 2 5/8. We're going to punch, and we're going to gently score. This is a 32-pound paper that I've printed this on. We're going to rotate, and then we're going to line up the score line here with the score guide. We're going to punch and score again. And rotate, and incidentally this one, because it's across from the other one, will be at 2 5/8 again. Punch and score, but you don't need to know that because you're just lining it up with the score line. The only time you really need to measure is the first time, and then we're lining this up with the score line here, punch and score. Okay, so let's do that one more time. 2 5/8, punch and score, rotate, line up the mark, punch and score, rotate, line up the mark, or the score line with the guide, punch and score, rotate and punch and score. All right, I'm going to do that 4 more times. Okay, I just happened to notice that my punch seems to be broken. It's working properly though, but this is crooked in there and it's lifted, but when I'm pushing it down it seems to be working okay, so I'm not going to worry about it. I don't know how that happened. I'm just too rough with my tools, I suppose. Okay, so because we're going to do the horizontal on this, we are going to use one of the flaps for attaching the envelopes to each other, and we're going to be doing sets of 2. The other flap we are going to leave open. Now I'm going to flip this completely over because you want to fold on the mountain side, because when you've scored into this paper, you're pushing the fibers out and they're already ready to go. And so I'm going to flip this over and fold these this way. And I will do that real quick and we'll fast forward this. So we've got all of these folded. We've got 6. And now what I want to do is come through and I'm going to leave I'm going to glue one flap down. This will be the outside opening, and this will be how we attach the envelope. So the reason I'm doing this is just to give us a little bit more sturdiness. So I'm going to come through and I'm going to do this pretty much, oh my goodness, pretty much assembly line style. So one flap at a time. Okay, so assembly line style is the easiest method for me. I got some glue on this one somehow. Don't know how I managed that, but it's just so I don't get confused. So the next thing we want to do is we want to glue these pieces together. So because we want this to be open, and this is going to be glued to the top of this like that. So we're not really concerned about the design or the paper or the overlap or anything, because we can cover this however we want. We can add pockets and collaging and anything we want. So you could, like I've seen some people, trim this down if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to glue it as is. So what I want to do, I don't want to glue this piece down. I need that to be open. So what I'm going to do here is give myself a little tuck spot, or a little glue area, and I'm just going to glue that down just like that. I just want to make sure these are good and flat. I've got everything pointing the same direction. And then I'm going to go through and make sure that they're not glued in here because I want to use that portion. So this one I did get a little excess glue. I'll make sure that's open. I can rub that off. Okay, that one's open, and that one's mostly open. We'll get it back open. And I'll check those again because sometimes they can re-stick if you don't get that glue out of there. Yeah, let's see if we can. Okay, so we're going to take 3 of them and we're going to put them this way. And we're going to take 3 of them and we're going to put them this way. And then we are going to turn these over. Okay? And what we want to do is there's this line here, okay? And there's this here. What we want to do is take these two and line this one up on this line here. Not on it, but right up to it. And that way it'll still be able to, you know, fold. And then we will go just around the edge of this one and glue it down because we don't want to glue in here. If we put glue all over this, this will close the pocket. And we don't want the pockets closed. So, I'm just gonna, where did I put the glue? Oh, right here. I'm going to, this one, we are the same thing. We're just gonna put it on the outline and right along this edge. And we're gonna bring this up, we're folding this forward, and we're gonna bring this up to that score line and lay it down. Then we're going to take this one and go around the edge, same way, and glue that down. Okay, now we're going to fold it and make sure everything is lined up straight because there's nothing worse than it being crooked. So there is our first folio, if you will. Remember, a folio is a piece that's folded in half, basically. It can be a page folio, but yeah, so we have a nice side, and then we have a kind of a collage-y looking side. But if we do them all the same way, they'll be consistent, and we can cover that. If we don't like it, I kind of like it. I think you could use that to put some designs on there, but there's the first one. So let's do that again. We're going to take one this way, one this way. We're going to fold this one back, okay? We're going to put glue down here and around the outside. Then we're going to line this up to that score line. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Right along the edge and down. Then we're going to fold it to make sure, because we have a little bit of wiggle room. I'm using the Beacon 3-in-1. We have a little bit of wiggle room in there. And we just want those to be glued down. And there's our second folio. So we will tuck that inside the first one, and then we will do one more. Okay, we have this one facing up, this one facing down. We're going to fold this back. Put our glue on this one, around the edge. Holding that flat back, we're going to put that up to the score line. Then do the same thing on this one. Perhaps not as messy as I'm being. Okay, fold that one up. Make sure everything's lined up. Nice. Now that wasn't too hard. Okay, so I'm going to stick that in there the exact same way. And yes, they do taper, is that the word? Kind of pooch out, you know, because of the thickness here. We are going to add some coffee dyed paper in between each of these pockets, pages, folios, whatever you want to call them. But I am going to go back. Well, time flies when you're having fun. It already popped off at 29 minutes. Anyway, I'm going to go back and just make sure that all of these are open so that nothing is stuck together, and we're good. Okay, let's talk about the cover. I've got some coffee dyed cardstock here. So, all right. These, I think this is going to be too short this way, so I'm going to cut it this way. So let's look. The finished size of this one is 3 1/4. So I want to make a strip that's 3 1/2. Okay, so there I have a strip that's 3 1/2. Now I'm going to fold this like so. And you can see that's way too big for my booklet. I got a lot of overage there. Now I wanted it to be about 1/4 of an inch over. So where's my ruler? And so I think I'm going to make a tuck here that is approximately 3/4 of an inch. So let me get my scoreboard out. And we'll just make a little 3/4. And I'm doing it from this side because it's easier for me than trying to go that way. Okay, so we're going to fold this in and fold that in. And let's double check it before we glue it down, but I'm pretty sure that'll work. Just like that. Yeah, perfect. It's a little more than 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8, but that's all right. So let's glue these little tuck spots down. And you don't have to have these little tuck spots if you don't want them. Just take them off. But I thought that would be nice because I like to have little pockets in my cover. So that'll be perfect. So let's hold those down until it takes. Okay, now we are going to sew these signatures in. So I do want to reinforce this with something. And because I'm just going to be using scraps, I am going to put lace on the outside after we sew. But on the inside, I think I want to use this. I haven't used this in a long time. And I just, oh no, the micropore is super sticky to it. So I'm going to have to cut. I probably shouldn't use that. Maybe you need to use a piece of washi tape. So I'll have to cut off the sticky part so I can use that. But let's just attach this. This is ribbon paper. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and I haven't seen it since. I don't know if they just don't carry it all the time or what, but yeah, let me just use a little piece of scotch on there to keep it from unrolling, because that would be a mess. So I'm just gonna put it there. Okay, but I just love this ribbon. So I probably should score this so I can get it right in the middle. That would be helpful. It's it's 1.5 inches, so we'll score there again at 3/4. Probably should have scored on the other side, but that's okay. All right, because we want to fold this way. And then I'm going to put that right in the middle, and then we will trim it. You don't need to do this step. You could just put a piece of masking paper, piece of washi tape, piece of anything. I'm using cardstock, so it probably doesn't really even need to be reinforced, but it's decorative. So I'm going to put that right in the middle, like so. And then we will trim off the excess. But now I can use this paper ribbon for other things throughout this book. That's the beauty of starting with something that's monochromatic. I could use scraps for this, or I can use my paper ribbon, and I may just use that paper ribbon throughout. And that will, you know, give it some consistency. But isn't that pretty? I just love that. Okay, so now we want to put, let's put our cover aside for a minute. Now we want to put some paper in between here. Now, Carol mentioned that if you put too much paper, you're going to get an alligator mouth. I don't mind that so much. So it depends on what you want. But I'm also thinking right now that this would be really pretty right along the edge and rolled around. So I may do that off camera. But let's go ahead and get some paper in here. So I've got my coffee dyed back here. And there again, let's measure. We want the coffee dyed paper to be slightly smaller. Oh goodness, let's get it right way around. Okay, so this is 3 1/4. So I'm thinking, let's make the paper in between. Writing down my notes. Let's make them 2 7/8. And you don't have to be that precise if you don't want. I just would like them to be almost the size of the pockets. And then double whatever this is, less a little. So let's do 7 3/4. In fact, let's just change that. Let's do 2 3/4 by 7 3/4. Make it easy to remember. And let's cut some coffee dyed paper. Now we have all these scraps over here, so let's use those. So I think I would like to put 3, 6, and maybe some in the middle as well. So I'm going to cut 9 of these. Okay, I need one more, and I think I'm going to go with a smaller piece right in the middle. This one's only 2 1/4, but that's okay. So let's do 7 1/2 on this one, and that just gives me a little smaller piece in the middle. And I may not like it, and then I'll do something different. But let's divide up these by the varying colors, because I want to mix it up. Some of them are tea dyed and some of them are coffee dyed, but basically I'd like to have 3 stacks. There we go. So let's fold these in half like that, and these in half like that, and these in half, and then the small one in half. And what we're going to do with this is, and I may need to cut another 1/4 inch or so off of this one, because I'd like to do a decorative, oh yeah, that's not going to work at all. So maybe I think I'll cut a 1/2 inch off of it while it's folded. Because I want to use a decorative punch, and I need it to be away from the other corner punch. So let me get my punch. Okay, so this one's actually my favorite. I really like this punch. I use this one a lot. So just going to make sure it's making contact with both sides. There we go. So that's the small one that'll go inside here. And let's do these. I think I can do them all at once. Nope. Probably need to do them separately. I mean, it went through, but it didn't like it. So there we go. All right, so we've got those, and we've got this one, and it's separate enough. Okay, that's perfect. So that's going to go in the middle. Okay, so we've got that there. Now let's do the next one. Now we've got this one. Did I do that right? Huh, yeah. Okay, so let's see. We've got none here, because this is the beginning, and then we've got 3 pieces of paper, then we've got another envelope, 3 pieces of paper, another envelope, and then we've got the 3 pieces of paper and the one for the center. So yeah, that is going to be a lot of fun. So this is the base foundation, and then my tags are going to be 2, let's see, this is 3 1/2, so 2 by 4 is not going to cut it. I need a little bit, maybe a 1/4 inch, and because I don't care if they stick out a little bit. So we need our tags to be 4 1/2, and then the width can be 2. Okay, because I think, oh, that says 3. So let's make our tags 2 1/2 by 4 1/2. Okay, so that's our foundation. I'm going to get some tags cut, and tomorrow we'll be back to decorate. See you next time. Thanks for watching.